Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Apartment 3, and today we have a special guest. We're here with actor and entrepreneur Herbert Morales.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
How's your day been going so far?
Good, man. Pretty good. Blessed.
So just tell us a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know.
Yeah, so I am an actor, entrepreneur. I started my own clothing brand called Not From This World, I want to say like 2 years ago. And then about a year into that, like I was saying off air, me and my dad were just watching Transformers, and then he was just like, dude, like, you can do a bunch of impressions and impersonations. You like to be like the center of attention with all our family. And I always like to, I'm really good at like really paying close attention to somebody and being able to mimic them. So he was like, just try acting now. And I was like, what do you mean acting, dude? Like, I didn't know you can like just try it. So he was like, yeah, just look up acting classes. So I did. And then 2 years later, I'm here now.
All right, cool. So for the people that don't know, me and you, we've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
We used to work together and everything. So
Go to church together.
yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So you did have a clothing brand before, Not From This World. So what happened with that? I know, like, I think you had some legal issues and stuff, right? So
Not From This World.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was like legal issues. I was, naive. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't really look into the business side of it. And I just kind of got my business license and just started making apparel. And then I didn't realize, I had to trademark it and make sure if anybody, before I did anything, make sure nobody else had the name. So about like a year and some months into it, like I got an email from a lawyer. He was like, hey, just letting you know, like, you have the same name as my client. He's like, if you don't take it down, we're going to take legal action. And like, forget how much the number was, but I was like, we're going to sue you for this amount. And I was like, oh, I don't have that much. And, after talking along with my parents and my friends, they were like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, it's been, because I was doing like really like well in the business, and they were just like, is it that important to you? Like, do you think you can come up with another name and like the same meaning or similar meaning and kind of piggyback off that? And I was like, I think I can. So, I emailed them back and I was like, you know what, like, you guys can have it. Like, I don't want to go to court over this. So that was basically, I don't want to, name drop the name.
Yeah. So how was that for you, since you said you were like a year and a half into it?
Yeah.
So how was that for you? Like, damn, I got to restart. I got to start from scratch, basically.
Yeah, man. I wasn't depressed, but I was just like a few days I was just down because I was like, man, I put like my heart and soul into it, man. I was just like sleeping like maybe like 5-6 hours a day, but I was waking up happy doing it. You know what I mean? Because it's what I love to do. I was designing. I didn't know anything, so I had to teach myself from scratch just off Google and YouTube how to design and how to, Shopify, how to work Shopify, and how am I going to connect with people that I don't know on social media or stuff like that. So it was definitely hard, but I would say that it was a learning experience, and, it made me, learn a lot in that period of time. And then one day me and my mom went out to breakfast, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I have a new name for it. She was like, what? And I was like, Not From This World. She was like, oh, I like it. She was like, why? And I just explained the meaning, just being not from this world, just being you, yourself, unique, not caring about what anybody else has to say about you, but just do you and just follow your dreams. And she was like, oh, I like it because, a lot of people can gravitate towards that. So, instantly I just made sure nobody else had the name first. And then I went into all that, business and legal work and all that stuff. And then I just kept on going, and I designed my logo. And I think it was like a few days or a week. And then, I posted it on Instagram. From my other Instagram for the other brand, I just switched the name so that way I didn't lose like the followers I already had. Yeah. So I just did that, switched the name, the logo, and then just went on from there.
So I know you trademarked it or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is a brand similar name.
Yeah.
So is there any confusion with that or anything?
No, because it's a church brand, and it's that one's not of this world. And I looked into it and I made sure like that one's, completely good different. To go. Yeah, completely different, good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know sometimes when I'm explaining your brand and stuff to other people, like, oh, like, look at this, or I would wear the fanny pack to work.
Yeah.
So people would be like, oh, what's that? And they're like, isn't that not of this world? I was like, no, it's something different. So
yeah, I
know you probably still get it too. A lot of confusion on the name.
Yeah, even some of my family members are like, wait, isn't that the church brand? I was like, no. I was like, this is way different,
Yeah. So you kind of explained how you got into acting and stuff, but what made you want to start your own brand?
I don't know. It's just something that I never thought I would do something like that, but I started the first one in college when I was at Cal Poly, and my friend did it. and he had his own brand. He was from Long Beach, and I just saw the way he was like, going to LA and finding the right materials and talking to people, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, because I went with him a few times, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I've always liked to dress how I like to dress, and not really care about what people had to say about me. And I was like, oh, maybe I can make that into a message. So I just kind of picked his brain for a little bit, saw how he would make his own logos and design, and yeah, I was just like, man, because I believe, like, if you look good, you feel good, and if you feel good, you perform good. So I was like, why not make something that I'm gonna feel good in, that'll make me perform good as well, and at the same time create jobs for other people. Yeah.
Is that a quote from somebody, or
no?
Is that your own quote? Okay.
I don't know where it's from, but I heard that quote in college, and it really stuck with me, because it made sense to me. I was like, oh, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you perform good. So
yeah, sounds good. What was I gonna say? I got my tempo.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I know you have your own brand. Did you send those out to like famous people, and then did that help with your recognition too?
Yeah. So actually, the first person who actually wore it, I have the picture right here. I was just looking at it the other day, was Post Malone, when he was like on the come up. So me and my friend Jose, when we were in college, he was going to college at the time at Cal State San Bernardino, and every Monday, I don't know if you guys know who DJ Ski is.
I heard of him. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So DJ Ski would host every Monday a free concert at the, where is it? It's off Hollywood and Franklin, right by the Amoeba music thing where they sell like vinyls and stuff. So they would have, like, for up and coming artists, like at the time Ty Dolla $ign was coming up, Post Malone, YG was like a little bit up there too, but Post Malone was like under him. So he was like, oh, let's go. So every Monday we would go, and then they would have like a 2-hour performance, and then film it with the whole camera crew and stuff. And then across the street was the LA Film School, and then the people would be like, hey, after this, if you guys want to wait 2-3 hours, DJ Ski is gonna interview whoever the performer was at the time. So me and my friend Jose, we would go out there, wait 2 to 3 hours, dude, and wait for all the artists to come out and give them hats. So the first person who wore it was Post Malone. This first one, when he had a White Iverson. He had just dropped it like a few weeks or months before. And I just went up to him and I was like, hey, Post, like, I just explained a little bit about myself and my brand. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So he got the hat, he put it on. And then after that, I think it was Ty Dolla $ign had it on as well, because I knew his barber on Instagram. I followed him, and I was like, hey, JC, like, the same thing. I explained a little bit about myself and my brand. He's like, yeah, give me a hat, I'll give it to Ty. And then I saw him, like, Ty Dolla was sitting down, and then JC like goes up to him and gives him a hat, and Ty Dolla. So I was like, all right, cool. And then like the next week, I saw it was on DJ Skis, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I remember seeing a picture. Was that Ty Dolla $ign? It was on like the couch, and he had it like, right
couch
there with him.
Yeah, a lot of people was like, "Oh, you photoshopped that." I was like, "No," because sometimes like what I would do is like, or what I did before was like, if Barack Obama would have like a playing shirt on, like I would like put my logo on it, like as a joke, right? Yeah. And post like, "Oh, Barack Obama wore my stuff," and I was like, "No, like this actually happened." Snoop, I got a picture with Snoop too, and he got my hat and he wore it too, so it was cool.
Yeah, and on your Instagram, didn't Sharif O'Neal, wasn't he wearing some stuff
Sharif,
too?
Yeah, Sharif always wears my stuff. Shaq's, I think, middle son or second oldest son. Yeah, I got him. I saw him at Complex Con 2 years ago, or 2-3 years ago in Long Beach, and I saw him, his older brother Miles, and his younger brother, and I was like, hey man, like I have my own clothing company, like I used to play basketball as well in high school. I was like, can I give you a hat and a shirt? And he was like, yeah, sure. Like, he wasn't expecting somebody to give him something free. So I gave it to him. I gave it to his older brother. And then I DM'd Sharif, and he was like, yeah, dude, my brother wears your stuff all the time. Like, yeah, just send me whatever you want. Send me his address. I sent it to him. And then, like, a few weeks go by, and then I see him post it on my Instagram. And then, like, that shirt, like, immediately sold out, like, in all the sizes. And I was like, damn. And then that same shirt, he wore it on the reality show that him and his family had, too. So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
that's dope.
I think it was BET.
So how does that process work with, like, any other person that you see, like, just not walking around or anything? Do you just find their address and start sending them stuff, or how exactly does that work?
Like a famous person?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so the whole thing with, like, with acting was that at the time I was taking a class on Melrose, an acting class. So what I would do is after, like, my class was over, which would be around, like, 3-4 hours, I would literally go to my trunk of my car, and I would have all my hats and shirts. So after my acting class, I would take my backpack, go to the trunk of my car, pop it open, and then take out all my scripts and all my notes that I had from acting class, and I would put in my my shirts and hats, and I would walk around Melrose and Fairfax, and I would go around and like, cause I knew that's where all the celebrities and like up and coming artists were. And I'd be like, hey, like I explained to him, like, hey, my brand means this, blah, blah. They're like, oh, that's dope, bro. Like, shoot me a hat. And then I would already be following them, and they would put it on their story or post it on their Instagram and tag me and stuff like that. Like, I got Tyler Creator's, one of his friends to wear it. And then just like a bunch of people, dude. Like, if you go on the Instagram, you'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, just search, like I would do that too, like kind of like stalk people and like on some stalky vibes, dude, like go on Google and type in their address. And like if I knew they would like it, like I would shoot them a DM first, make sure it was cool, because I don't want to,
just send them invade
their privacy. So I would do that. And if they said yeah, then cool. And if they didn't respond, which would happen a lot of times, then I wouldn't send it. But a lot of times people would respond and they would like it.
Yeah, that's kind of what's been happening to us. We kind of started reaching out to people too, and then you get 99 no's.
Man, that you have to be persistent, man, because I watch a lot of Gary Vee, and in college at the time I was like really heavy on Gary Vee. I still am, but I was more in college, and he would just be like, man, if you got to DM 3,000 people and you get 2,500 no's, but you have those 500 yes, like make sure you like capitalize on those yes, because those are the people that are going to help you out, when you're nothing and then eventually become something. So it is hard. You have to be persistent, but I mean, if it is what you love to do, like it'll be worth it at the end.
So were there ever times where you thought like, man, this isn't even worth it anymore? Like, was there times like you felt like you wanted to give up?
Nah, never, dude. Like, there's always times of like, not depression, but like, you're like, damn, everybody has their down days, you know what I mean? But it's like in my head, I'm like so confident and like not even cocky, but I just believe in myself and believe in what I'm putting out, as an actor, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman. Like, I'm just so confident in what's going to work. I'm just like, man, if like, this is my way of thinking, like I wouldn't be going this hard for this long if I knew it wasn't going to work. I know it's going to work, so that's why I'm going that hard, Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's actually, I brought it up every time, but Russ, I feel like he has that same mindset, but right now, as we're working hard, we're grinding, we have that mindset, but once you blow up, you keep that same mindset and people look at you different.
Yeah.
So I think it's just crazy how people are like, oh, why are you so cocky?
Yeah, it happened to Cardi B too. Yeah. Cardi B, when she was on Instagram popping, or she was on the come up before her hit song came out. Everybody was cheering for her, and as soon as her hit song came out, she still had that love. But then as soon as she dropped her album, everybody just like switched up on her. You know what I mean? Everybody loves the underdog until you make it to the top, and then they want to switch up and hate on you. But you just have to be mindful that it comes with the territory. And that it's gonna happen, no matter what, regardless.
Yeah. So I know we introduced you as actor, entrepreneur. We kind of touched on the entrepreneur part, but it's actually time for our break. So we'll touch on the acting after this break.
All right, perfect.
Hey, it's us again because we don't have any fucking sponsors.
If you want to help support the podcast, buy one of these lovely canvases. Every purchase helps support the podcast by getting us new equipment and helping us travel to these interviews.
So back to the podcast.
All right, so we are back from our commercial break. So I want to get into the acting side.
Yep.
What was your first gig?
My first gig, what was it? I know it for sure wasn't paid, because, dude, when you start out, you have to like eat crap for so long before you can get paid. Like, I remember my first thing I got paid for, I told my dad, and he was like, "You're getting paid?" Because I went so long with like just doing like extra work and not getting paid, or just like doing like small little student films and short films for no money at all. So like when I finally got paid, he was like, "You got paid?" But I think I remember my first audition was a Nike print campaign to be a model. And at that time, I didn't have an agent. I was just like submitting myself for a role, and I was just like, okay, cool. Like I've never modeled before, like whatever. And I made it to like the second audition. They had me like pose with like two other dudes, and then they're like, all right, we'll let you guys know. But if you got it, they'll let you know. But if you don't, they won't hit you up. But my first thing I got, I don't know, it was probably like some extra role in like a music video, or like a short film or something. But the first like thing that kind of like got me on was like I was a lead in a web series. It was called One True Loves, and I was on one episode. It was a 4 or 5 episode web series, and I was on the 4th one. And it was about how the girl, the writer, she actually created a web series on her story as a little kid, like on her love life as like her boyfriends and stuff until she was 17. So I played her 17-year-old boyfriend. So that was cool, and that actually won a few awards for web series. I forgot what like the award thing is called, but yeah, I won a few awards for that. And then after that, that was in 2017, like December 2017 when that came out. And then after that, I got my first like national commercial for Redbox. And then after that, I got like an Adidas commercial, and then I got some other things, and then yeah, I just been going.
So would you say that the web series was like your first big gig?
Yeah, I would. For me, like at first when I started, I thought anything was big, you know. So yeah, that was for sure something big. I just wanted to be, like, I didn't care if I wasn't getting paid, you know, because like I was like, if I keep working at this hard enough, like the money's gonna come. But I just want to be able to go to LA and, you know, just make connections and meet people every day, and that eventually, you know, meet directors, producers, casting directors, and just actors on set, and that's what's gonna, like, you know, push me forward to my career. So that's at first as an actor, I feel like that's first, you know what I mean? Like obviously you have to pay your bills and stuff, but you know, you got to eat crap for a while and just know that it's going to work out at the end.
So when you landed it, were you like, what was the feeling like with that? Like,
I remember I went to pick up my mom from the airport. And then when I got back home, I checked my email, and that was like the one of the last emails I had gotten. So it was up on top of my email list. And I was like, dude, I was just like jumping up in joy, because I was like, damn, dude, like, I started acting October of 2017, and that was in December. So I was like a few months with like just every day doing, like, working for free. So when I got that, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like it felt good to actually, you know, all the acting lessons and books that I was reading and stuff like paid off, you know. And like, don't get me wrong, like now looking back at it, like I hate the way I acted in that, you know, but it's cool because I get to see how when I first started to where I'm at right now. And then, you know, 5-10 years later from now, I'm going to say the same thing about myself now, you know, just progressing every day. But it felt good, dude. It felt good to finally actually land something. But like I said, like a lot of people think that acting is like a wave, which is like somewhat true, but most of the time it's like you're down, down, then you get up and you go back down, then you go back up, unless, you know, when you make it big, but you know, you're up most of the time. But you know, for right now, it's just like a constant wave of just, you know, booking stuff and then going back to the drawing board, and, you know.
So did that first initial, since it won a bunch of awards, you said, did it open up more for you? Did people start reaching out to you?
Not really, because it wasn't my episode specifically that won awards, but it was like, I think it was like the first episode or the second episode that won, but still, like, the name One True Loves, I had my name attached to it, you know. So it did good, but I didn't get any calls after that, you know. So I just kept going to class, kept reading books, kept going on YouTube and Google, like typing, like, you know, watching interviews on my favorite actors and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, but just constantly learning as I went.
so you said you watched interviews of your favorite actors. Like, do you want to touch on who they are?
Yeah, so my favorite actor of all time is Jim Carrey, because I met him when I was like 3 years old. At one of my uncle has a restaurant in Baldwin Park, and he went as Ace Ventura because, you know, Jim Carrey's a method actor, so he stayed in Ace Ventura character the whole shoot. So I don't remember, but my parents say that, you know, they were eating with me, and they look over, they're like, wait, that's Ace Ventura, because I think it wasn't When Nature Calls, it was when Pet Detective, he was filming that. And you know, he was at the table, you know, like standing on the chairs and like putting a whole bunch of straws on stuff. And then they went up to him. They're like, "Oh, can you give my son an autograph?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." And he had like his big hair. So Jim Carrey is definitely one of my biggest like inspirations as an actor, not just as a comedian, but like as a drama performance as well. Because like his drama performances are really good. But you know, Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, Benicio del Toro as a director, because he's Mexican. You know, I like anybody who's not just Mexican, but a Hispanic actor, producer, director, because I feel like they're representing, you know, me up there, you know, as my color, as my nationality. So I like anybody that's Hispanic, yeah.
And I know you did you're wearing a music video with Amine, correct?
Yeah.
So how was that? How was working? Like, how is it different from like a TV show or just like more common acting, I guess you can say, than it is for like a music video?
Yeah, that shoot was actually really fun, dude. I remember I booked it, and I think it was like a week after he dropped his recent album, and I was just listening to it that whole week, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, it'd be cool to work with him one day, and then or meet him. And then like 2 days after I said that, like boom, I got the audition, and I not even audition, I got it. So I think that was like an 11-hour shoot or 12-hour shoot, but it's definitely different because it's more chaotic because the director is the rapper, you know? So he had his own vision for what he wanted. So it was just cool. I kind of like stepped back and just watched him from afar and just kind of how he conducted himself and conducted the producers and the people on set, you know, like, oh no, I want you here. Like everything was like meticulously in detail. So, you know, I just, you know, it was just inspiration for me to see him and how he works. So I can, when I go do my thing, you know, I keep all those things in mind.
Did you want to shout out the music video in case some of our audience wants to check it out?
Yeah. So it's a Menig. The music video is called Blackjack, and I'm like the guy like pouring milk. I'm like the bully, the guy pouring milk over one of the students and just like beating him up and stuff. And then actually me going to the toilet and giving Amine a swirly. So it was pretty cool.
So I know you've also done a few commercials. From top of my head, you mentioned Redbox.
Yeah, that was my first one.
And then NFL, weren't you on like?
Yeah, the 100th anniversary, the NFL one. And then most recently, I did a USPS holiday commercial that's actually airing right now for like from November 1st through I believe the 20th of December for like the holidays.
So I'm kind of ignorant to like the whole acting scene. So like, how does that work? You just get paid like upfront. Well, after you're done shooting, you're like, here you go, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it depends because when you're in the union, they kind of just buy you out and they give you a lump sum of money. But now I recently joined the union, which is SAG-AFTRA. So what they do is, for commercials, what they'll do is they'll pay you some money up front, but where you get most of your money is like on residual. So depending how many times they play it, how many people are engaged in the commercial, or how many people actually go to like their website or whatever. Like for this case, like my commercial is on nationally on like TV and stuff, but it's also on, you know, social media, YouTube, any other platform that you can think of, it's on there too. So, you know, you get paid some money up front and then with residuals as well. Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably a good thing because I mean, those are some obviously big companies. You got Redbox, NFL, and USPS. So I mean, right. I bet it's nice like knowing that it's going to be shown so many times throughout.
Yeah, but for me, what I kind of find exciting for me is that, like, you know, all my family and friends are gonna watch it. You know what I mean? It's cool because the other day I was talking to one of my cousins I hadn't talked to in like a month or two, and I sent her the commercial for USPS, and she was actually at her fiance's house, and she showed her fiance and all her family. They're like, oh yeah, we've seen that commercial a bunch of times, and they're in Miami. And I was like, damn, dude, like all the way out there, like anywhere in the United States, like people are get to see my face. You know what I mean? But it's pretty cool. Just a small town kid from Victorville now on TV.
Yeah, I mean, cool. Well, Victorville nowadays is starting to produce a bunch of people. So
yeah, dude, there's a bunch of NFL players from Victorville, basketball players, fighters, actors, anything, dude. Yeah.
So I know it's probably great seeing. Well, your mom seeing you on TV. I know you posted on, it was either Instagram or Snapchat, maybe both, of your mom seeing that USPS commercial for the first time. So how is it every time seeing your mom react to you on TV?
Man, it's not just my mom, but my dad too, because my dad, he feels kind of a certain way. You know, he was like, damn, like I told him start acting. You know, he always has like a big ego boost. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, that's my son. Like I remember when he was on the couch and I told him just start acting, and now I'm watching him on TV. But it's a blessing, man. You know, like those two are like my best friends. You know what I mean? Like I'm always talking to them, or if I'm not with them, I'm on the phone with them or whatever, just telling them about my day or what's going on. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see my parents, you know, light up, and they're like, dang, you know, like everything we went through with him, like with the whole school thing, and then like his brand, and now he's acting, like it's cool. And it's cool to see my grandparents see it too. You know, they're older, and the commercial's actually out in Spanish as well. So it's cool to have my grandpa call my mom like, hey, I saw him on TV. We saw him, like, we're so proud of him. You know, so it's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, so I've been kind of pushing this off because I personally think it's your biggest thing you've done so far. You're in movie with Ben Affleck. What's the title?
It's called The Way Back.
And that's coming out in March, correct?
Yeah, March 6, 2020.
So you want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, man. The Way Back, it's about Ben's character, Jack Cunningham, how, you know, he's an alcoholic for a reason that you'll see in the movie, and you know he's kind of going through it. And our coach for our basketball team, he recently had a heart attack, and we need a replacement coach. So he's just like, hey, our minister goes up to Ben, and he was like, hey, like the team hasn't been any good since you been in high school, which is about like 20 some years ago, 30 some years ago. He's like, they need a new coach, and that's why I'm here to, ask you if you want to be their coach. And that's when Jack Cunningham was like, are they any good? And he was like, well, they haven't been good since you've been on the team. When he was on the team, they were like ranked number 1 in the nation. So he was like, all right, I'll do it. And, as soon as he comes up to us, he sees that, we have some work to do. So he helps us, win. And, along we kind of help him kind of get through what he's going through. And there's more to it. And I'm excited for everybody to see it. But yeah, how I got that is I had to go through 3 auditions to get that, and down there in LA. And, it was very like tedious auditions, like either scrimmaging with people or actually going in the audition room and reading lines with the casting director. But all in all, dude, I was just like happy when I got the call, and they're like, you got it. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude. Like at that time, it was like a few months when I started acting. I got it in August, and I started in October of last year. So it was about to be a year since I started acting. I was like, what the heck is my life? Like what's going on? And yeah, we filmed that for, I think it was like 6 weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. So how is it working on like an act? Because that's your first movie, correct?
That's my first studio movie. Yeah.
So how is it working on that big Hollywood movie? Like how's the set and everything?
It's crazy. That's actually my first studio movie, but I had done a movie that same year in March called Killer Party, which didn't end up coming out because of some complications with the writers or something like that happened. But that was, my friends, we all got together and we went to Lake Arrowhead and we shot a movie there. But that, in comparison to a big studio film, you just see all the producers, the director, the executive producers, everybody on set. A lot of people think they see like the final cut of the movie and they think, oh, it took them, it didn't take them that long to shoot it. But as soon as you're on set, you see everybody doing their work, from PAs to DPs, director of photography, all the director producers, all that. You get to see everything firsthand, how everything's going. And yeah, man, it's crazy. There's constant movement all the time, from the people who are catering, cooking up our food. It's insane. It's just madness every day. Yeah.
So moving forward, like in future studio movies that you end up doing, is there like a genre of movie you want to focus on, like comedy, action, or do you not really have a preference?
I would definitely want to do a little bit of both. Why not? Comedy and drama. I feel like I said, my favorite actor, Jim Carrey or Jamie Foxx, Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Lawrence, those people like that are the people that I look up to, and I would love to work with them. But I'm like, why not? Why not do a little bit of everything? A little bit of drama, action, comedy, a dramedy, whatever it is. Just get my feet wet in a little bit of everything. But I think what it's helped me a lot. My mom, she gave me a book called The Secret, and all of my friends are like, dude, stop talking about it. But it's like, it's helped me out so much in my life, dude. Like it helped me, like the power of manifestation and power of visualization, just visualizing where I want to be. You know what I mean? She gave me that book last year in January 2018, and I read it first, and I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like I'm gonna start actually putting it into practice. So what I do is, like in the morning, like I'll do my morning prayer, and then I'll go into like a little corner of my room and just start meditating and manifesting and visualizing what I have written on my whiteboard, all my goals for the week, the month, the year, and actually like put myself and visualize myself and kind of like see it, feel it, smell it, hear it, touch it, as if it already have it. You know what I mean? So like it's crazy because at the beginning of the year I was like, yeah, I want to do a movie for Warner Brothers, and then like it happened like that same year. And it's crazy because in 2017 I went to see Justice League and I saw Ben as Batman. And I told myself, like, kind of like under my breath, I was like, damn, that would be cool to work one day with Ben Affleck. And that's when I was just barely like doing acting classes and stuff. And then the next year it happened. So the power of visualization is like something I'm super big on. And I advise anybody who's like maybe going through a tough time in their career, or they don't know what to do, or, everybody has like their down times, to actually like start visualizing yourself as where you want to be.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to like a lot of people with the law of attraction too, right? And then I know Russ, speaking of Russ again, but he's always big about speaking it into existence. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like a lot of those kind of artists who get really big, and then they always have some sort of similar thing to what you're saying.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that the other day, and I was like, it's crazy how like the most successful people, they talk about the same things, and it's for a reason, because it's true and it works. I feel like if if it doesn't work for you, you might not be believing it, or you might not be putting your all into it. But firsthand for me, all of my family and friends, they've seen it happen. Like, it's crazy, dude. It really works. Yeah.
So, kind of start wrapping it up. Kind of talked about your plans for future movies. What about your brand? Any other things you plan on taking on? Like, just what's your plans in general for the future?
Yeah. So my brand is kind of is taking acting and my brand hand in hand. So, what I mean? The bigger I get in acting, the more big my brand's going to get. So, just dropping, my goal for 2020 is just releasing more stuff more consistently and more on time, and designing more things, looking more towards the future. But yeah, just have acting and my brand hand in hand, Yeah, and like as big as I go, my brand's going to get as well.
Are you working on any movies, TV shows, commercials, or anything you're allowed to talk about, or are you still kind of just doing some auditions?
I actually shot a show, but I don't want to say like for what network or for what, but we finished wrapping last month or 2 months ago. But I'm not allowed to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is yet, but when it is, like, I'll let you guys know.
Well, yeah. Shout out your social medias and everything you want people to follow you on.
Yeah. So you guys can follow me on at Herbert Morales _, and then my brand, Not From This World. And just keep pushing my brand, keep pushing the message of, do you, and don't care about what anybody thinks. Surround yourself with good energy, good vibes. And that's another thing that's helped me out too, is just, kicking out all the people that are just negative and people that don't serve me well and want to see me do bad. You know what I mean? Kick all that negative energy out and just have a small group of people that are going to support you and that want to genuinely see you do good in your career, and vice versa. You want to see them do well in their career or school or their job as well. So surrounding myself with good people is definitely important.
All right, well, we appreciate you coming on our podcast, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
So this has been Apartment 3, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, guys.